What's happening, man? I'm Onlyzhay if you don't know. If you do know, what up, though? Listen, man, on Think About That Tuesday, I got a quick little story out the Bible just to tell y'all, just to show y'all how so in control that Yah is of our lives and the things that we do. That as long as we have Yah at the head of our life, as long as we focus on him. We don't know how things are going to work out, but he does. We don't know that this situation is going to lead to that situation, which is going to lead to this situation, which is going to lead to a great thing for me. We just know that from here to here is him. But to go up, we keep going up and up and up into doing the things that he has us do. And before you know it, we reach this part right here where it's like, oh, that's why you had me do this and this and that. Because it leads to this. You feel me? You gonna see what I'm talking about. With all that being said, check out this wonderful story of Esther in the Bible. And you'll see what I mean. In 3, 2, 1, hit and play now.
King Ahasuerus was the king of Persia. Many years earlier, when Cyrus was king, he sent some of God's people back to Judah to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem.
Ignore the, once again, like I always say, if I haven't said it before. I mean, it's probably been a couple videos that haven't been released yet, but like I say in those videos, we know that these people was melanated people, so don't let these images change your perspective and thoughts of how those people really look. They was melanated. Not saying that they was black or Arabic and nothing like that, but just know that their skin tone was a little darker. A little dark. You feel me?
Some of God's people stayed in Persia. God's people were called Jews because they were from Judah. The king of Persia chose Esther to be his queen. Esther didn't tell the king that she was a Jew.
So I'm going to catch you up real quick. The Jews, as they say, which the Hebrew word for is Yehudi, they are part of the Israelites. You know, they from Yehuda, which is why they call Yehudi, like Judah, Jews. Okay. So they was part of Israel, you know, part of God's, I'm saying God, not come listen to these people. Yah is part of Yah's chosen people. And so, you know, they got exiled for their ancestors who became kings, not doing what they're supposed to do. So they got exiled, spread out like how y'all said they would. So then, what do you know? That Mordecai and his cousin Esther end up in the same spot. I think they said it's his cousin and niece. I'm not really sure. I gotta go back and look at the scripture. But they end up in the same spot where they get ridiculed and persecuted. You feel me? Like this is not their land. You feel me? And So just to let you know, and I'm not gonna beat the story, but just to let you know, being a quote unquote Jew back then, in the land that they in and the time that they wasn't looked at as a high and mighty thing for where they was at. You know what I mean? They were scattered out. You feel me?
One day, Mordecai heard that Haman, an important leader who worked for the king, was planning to kill all the Jews. Mordecai was upset. He was a Jew. He didn't want all the people he loved to be killed. Mordecai and all the Jews cried.
See what I'm saying? The king's man, you feel me? His right hand man was like, hey, you know what? Hey, as a matter of fact, king, let me come to you with a proposition real quick. We got all these Jews, man. Let's just kill them. You feel me? Like, let's get rid of them, man. You know, there's probably some deeper in some historical texts that actually have some more context to the situation of why they felt the need to kill them. But other than that, back then there was a lot of killing going on. So basically, your man's written up like, yo, let's just get rid of him. Let's just knock him out the park, put him out his misery. You feel me? All of them. That's how he felt. You heard?
Esther didn't know what was wrong. She sent a messenger to ask Mordecai why all the Jews were upset. Mordecai told Esther about Haman's evil plan. You have to do something, Mordecai said. Ask the king to stop Haman. Ask him to save the Jewish people. Esther sent a message back to Mordecai. No one can approach the king unless the king calls for that person first.
Also, what they didn't tell you is that the dude who wanted to kill all the Jews, he was he had a ego problem. You feel me? Full of pride. You feel me? So he didn't like the fact that, I think that's what it was. I'm not really sure. I gotta look into the scripture again, but I know for a fact that Mordecai, who was a Jew, wouldn't bow down to this dude. Everybody else would bow down. Wherever Haman walked, they was like, "Oh, Haman coming!" Like Haman was like Debo, like, here come Haman. Who? Haman. You feel me? So like they get ready, they bow down to him. But you know what I mean? Mordecai was like, "I'm gonna tuck mine in." You feel me? Like Mordecai was like, "I ain't bowing down to Haman." He wasn't saying it, but you know what I mean? Everybody would bow down. And he would just sit there like I mean, or like on Baby Boy. Remember on Baby Boy when they caught the little dudes that stole Jodie's bike, and all the other dudes was acting scared, and then that one dude was like, and they was like, "You got heart, you got heart. I ain't gonna sock you. You got heart." You know what I mean? It's like that. Like Mordecai had heart. You feel me? He was like, "I ain't bowing down to him, bro. I bow down to Yah." You feel me? Like, you know what I mean?
Esther said, "The punishment is death. Unless the king holds out his scepter, then you may live."
Also, what they didn't tell you, I don't know if they're going to tell you, but because they kind of fast forwarding through this, Mordecai heard some plans, because basically that king used to like to get drunk and twisted. You feel me? He used to like, "Hey man, where the party at?" You know what I mean? He was always getting drunk. Matter of fact, the king had a celebration for 180 days or close to half a year or something like that. So like he loved to get partying. You know what I mean? This king was like, "I got all this, I'm so rich and we so wealthy, I'm gonna just party for like half a year. Every day was a celebration." You feel me? And like he get drunk a lot. So like some of his people, some of his little workmen was there. They're like, "Man, we should kill dude. We should kill him." Now, I don't know if they were just hating on him, like, "You should kill dude. He got all this money, all this stuff. I want to do party." I don't know what it is, why they wanted to do that, but they wanted to kill him. Mordecai heard, and he told Esther. Esther told I forgot who she told. I think she told the king or somebody, but they wrote it down. But you know, dude be getting drunk, so he done forgot about it. You know what I mean? He like, "All right, now word up. I hear him. Yeah. You feel me?" So like they took care of that little situation. Every dude was getting drunk and stuff, right? And he forgot. Now I'm gonna let the story continue, but he forgot that Mordecai had told Esther to tell the king, because she told him, she's like, "Yo, Mordecai told me this." So like they know Mordecai had heard them people talking. Like, "Mordecai told me that they was trying to kill you." You feel me? So he knew about it and they wrote it down, but he be getting so drunk he forgot about it. You heard?
"You're a Jew," Mordecai said. "If you don't stop Haman, he will kill you too. Maybe this is why you are the queen. Maybe God put Esther in the palace to save her people." Esther asked Mordecai and the Jews to fast for 3 days. Then Esther would go to the king, even if it meant she might die. On the 3rd day, Esther went to the king. He saw Esther and held out his golden scepter. "What is it, Queen Esther?" the king asked.
When he held out the golden scepter, that means he allowed you to come in his presence. You feel me? That's why she was talking about, like, yo, nobody can come unless he allows them. Like, if you in his presence without that gold scepter around and without him doing the little thing to let you know that you good, you dying. You dead, son. You dead, B. Like, he getting rid of you.
"What do you want to ask me? I'll give you anything, up to half of my kingdom," Esther said.
Also, they skipped the part where the reason why she's in the predicament she was, like I was saying, her and Mordecai, they was the exiled Jews, you feel me? So they was just regular people. But then, like, Esther had did this thing where, like, the king and his wife got into it because he got so drunk one night. He was like, "Hey, tell my queen come here and show everybody how fine she is." You feel me? Just look at her. But she didn't want to do it. I guess she felt slighted and disrespected, like she was an object. You feel me? So he was like, "Hey, you know what? Get out here." And then he asked the people, "What should I do?" They was like, "Hey man, tell her that she got a bounce. She's no longer the queen. You don't want nothing to do with, kick her out, because if not," and everybody else gonna be like, everybody else wives gonna be like, if the queen ain't did it, I don't gotta do nothing. You feel me? It's gonna put all us husbands and men of power in predicaments where they not gonna listen to us. So you gotta chop it off at the head. He's like, bet. So he got rid of her, kicked her out. I don't think he killed her. I don't think it said he killed her. I think he just kicked her out, whatever. He's like, and they was like, look, man, we're gonna have a whole new thing come in here, right? We're gonna have a like just a whole bunch of girls try out to be your queen. Like it's basically like the Bachelor happened. Like basically the Bachelor came in and she won the Bachelor. Esther won the Bachelor, you feel me? They got all these virgins and they put him in the thing and he picked out which one he liked the most. You know what I mean? They probably had to do certain things, but it's probably like the Bachelor, like for real, like real talk. You feel me? So that's how Esther became queen. And like so, but Mordecai told her, don't ever tell nobody that you are Jewish. Don't ever tell nobody that you are Yehudi. Don't tell nobody that. You feel me? Because like if they would have found out, they probably would have kicked her out the pageant. Probably wouldn't have let her participate. You feel me? They were scattered out. They really didn't mess with the Jews like that. You feel me? So that was very important. They kind of skipped that part. But that's how all this occurred, and that's how she's in the position she was in to become the queen. So you see, at the very last moment, you're gonna see she waited to tell him. She waited until she had to tell him that she was a Jew. Wait. Before you kill all the Jews, I'm a Jew. So if you gonna, you know what I mean? Like, hey, just, you know what I mean? Like, she had to pull out the last minute. He didn't know.
Would you and Haman come to a feast today? So Haman and the king went to Esther's feast. After eating, the king said, "What do you want, Queen Esther? I'll give you anything, up to half of my kingdom." "Come to my feast tomorrow," Esther said. The king agreed. The next day, Haman and the king went to Esther's feast.
Also, what they left out is that Haman wasn't always where he was. So he just, like, he came up out of nowhere. Like, he blew up in a day. You feel me? The king put him in where he was in like such a fast time. Like, he was just going on the up and up and up and up. You feel me? So, like, when Queen Esther asked him and the king to come to a banquet that she was holding, which really she was just going to talk to him about the Jews, but like, and his plans, but like the fact that he didn't know none of this, you feel me? Cause the king didn't even know about it yet. Haman was like, he was happy. He was like, he went to the crib and told his wife, "Yo, you ain't gonna believe what else happened. Yo, Esther done invited me to the banquet with her and the king. You feel me? We lit. Like, if you thought I was solidified now, you feel me? It's like basically like Haman was like, picture Haman as being like an underground rapper to getting signed to Bad Boy, to Diddy inviting him to the crib. You feel me? And like, let's just say for instance, Diddy didn't invite nobody to his crib. And then dude invited Haman to the crib. It's like, yo, don't nobody get in Diddy crib. So it's the fact that Diddy invited me? Oh, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's something like that in that element. I'm trying to put this in, you know what I mean, in terms that y'all can understand it. You feel me?
After eating, the king said, "What do you want, Queen Esther? I'll give you anything, up to half my kingdom." Esther spoke up. "There is a plan to kill me and my people." The king replied, "Who is responsible for this plan?" "This evil enemy, Haman," Esther said. The king was angry. He punished Haman and made a law to keep the Jewish people safe from their enemies.
Also, what they did leave out as well is that, so before that happened, right, Haman was like, yo, because his wife was like, because when he was telling his wife, like, yo, Esther invited me, he's like, yeah. And then once I get some more power, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Mordecai, who don't want to bow down to me. Yeah. And then his wife's like, you should ask the king. He's like, yeah, you're right. You feel me? So he went in to ask the king, right? But before he did it, well, let me start right here. The night before that, or sometime before that, the king couldn't sleep. He's like, man, I can't sleep work nothing. You know, they ain't got no movies. They ain't got no Netflix. It's like whatever BC or 80, you feel me? They ain't got no Netflix, ain't no Instagram, ain't no TikTok. He can't sit there and watch that before he go to sleep. You feel me? So he like, hey, get one of my peoples in, one of my servants or guards or somebody, and read the chronicles of the books to me. They used to read the chronicles of like the lineages of the kings and before them, like read stories of the history, whatever. So the dude read some part where it was like, Mordecai told King so-and-so that the people was trying to kill him. And he was like, he was sober, I guess. He's like, yo, I forgot Mordecai did tell me that some people was trying to kill me. Hey, bro, I gotta do something for him. I gotta like give him some gifts or something. Like, I gotta like, he saved my life. I gotta do something for him. You feel me? So it was on his mind. And right before her mind could ask the king to kill Mordecai, the king stopped him before he said anything. He was like, hey, yo, what would you give somebody? Like, I mean, like, he was like, what would you give somebody if you was a king? What would you do to honor them? And since Haman was going on the up and up, you heard, you feel me? He's like, oh, he must be talking about me. So he started saying all these things that the king should do to him without saying. He's like, well, if I was a king, you feel me, I'd give said person, you feel me, like I'd give him this. I'd give him like a king's robe. I have him ride out on the horse that the king ride on, you feel me? What else? Probably look dude. I mean, just he stated things that he gonna get, right? So as soon as he said it, the king was like, bet. Go get Mordecai and tell Mordecai, come here and get all that, because I'm finna do all that for Mordecai. So her mind couldn't even get his he couldn't even get his plan out. He's like, oh my gosh, are you serious, bro? The one person I wanted to kill the whole entire people for, I wanted to kill all his people just because of him. I just messed around and gave this dude all this stuff that I would have had the king give me. And he couldn't tell the king that, you feel me? So he had to sit there and, with the stale face and say, yo, the king's like, yo, tell everybody, go in the courtyard and say, this is how a king treats people who saves him. And then go to Mordecai. So Mordecai had to go out there with the robe, with the horse, and he had to deliver it to Mordecai and say out loud in front of everybody, this is how the king treats somebody that this is how the king treats somebody that he loves, you know, that saved him. This is how, you know what I mean? Like, he had to do that. And the king don't know nothing. All this underlying, right? The king don't know nothing about Haman's plans to kill him at that point. I mean, to kill Mordecai, nothing like that at that point. So then, when he get invited to the banquet, she tell the king, you ain't gonna believe this. I'm asking you this in this favor to come to my banquet, because listen, some people trying to kill me and all my peoples. And you know, the king loved Esther. He loves her so much. She was his favorite. You feel me? Like, that's his boo. That's his bae. You feel me? Like, he loved Esther so much. He like, yo, because you see what he says, like, yo, what you want before you say anything? Because I'll give you half of this kingdom if you want it. She was like, yo, I just want you to save me and my people. They trying to kill us. So, you know, when he heard that, he like, kill y'all? Who? Who trying to kill you and your peoples? Haman in the cut like. Then the king, I think the Bible, I think it say the king left for something, and Haman was begging for his life. Yo, please, like, we can work this out. Like, it ain't even gotta be like this. Like, yo, like, you know what I mean? Like, he on some, oh, my bad type stuff. Now his pride and his ego and everything was gone. You feel me? And like, yo, like, the king came back and had them take Haman out. Haman had sharpened a 70-foot pole to impale Mordecai on. After the king found out that he was trying to kill his queen and her peoples, he ended up getting impaled on that same 70-foot pole. That's crazy, right? They didn't mention that. I'm gonna mention, I guess it's this cartoon trying to keep it a little PG. I'm gonna tell you how it is, you heard?
God was in control over Haman's evil plan to destroy the Jews. Like Haman, Satan wants to ruin God's plan and destroy believers. Satan thought he had won when Jesus died on the cross, but God raised Jesus from the dead and defeated Satan once and for all. All who believe in Jesus are rescued from sin and death.
You feel me? So like, when I was saying in the beginning, I was like, yo, Yah is in control, and we don't know how things are going to work out. We just know that they're going to work out for our greater good. Mordecai thought he was fitting to die when he heard about the plans of Haman wanting to kill him and his people. He went out, tore his shirt. They used to do this weird thing. I don't know what it was. It's not weird. I mean, it's weird to us, but I wasn't weird to them. But like, excuse me, used to do this thing where they tear their shirt and put dirt on their head because they like, yo, I'm dead, like it's done, like I'm messed up, like it's so wet, like y'all, you know what I mean? Like when they was in despair, that's what they did. That's what he was doing. Little did he know that he was gonna go from a person that was exiled into a land away from where his original people had kingdoms and everything to being this regular common dude getting all this dirt thrown at him, getting all this slander put on him by this one dude who put a hit out on him. You feel me? They was even gonna make a celebration. They had marked the calendar. This day next year, I'm finna kill all of them. Let them know. You feel me? And then on that day afterwards, after Haman had died and everything else, on that same day that he planned to kill everybody on, that is the day that the king allowed them to defend themselves against people who did. They ended up killing like more than 75,000 people that tried to kill them. You feel me? But like, that's the war part of it. But like, I'm just saying, like, Mordecai went from being this man who thought he was going to die to having this high-ranking spot in the kingdom. You feel me? Esther went from being this regular girl who was part of this exiled people to becoming the queen. You feel me? Like, we don't know how things are going to turn out, but these people kept their faith in Yah. Now I know they didn't really say too much about that, but like the people who was there, that's who they was worshiping Yah. Like I believe it say in the scriptures, I believe it tell you that they continued to worship Yah, or they had turned from their way. Somewhere in the story, their people as a whole was worshiping Yah. So all these things would never took place. He probably would have been dead. She probably would have been dead. Never would have been queen if they didn't continue to keep Yah first. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know how things are going to turn out, but that's okay. It doesn't matter, because as long as we're focused on Yah, everything will work out for the greater good. So I just want y'all to think about that. You feel me? On this Think About That Tuesday, just think about that. I mean, all this is in a short book. I think this book only has like 8 chapters in it, 10 chapters in it. If you trying to get started on reading the Bible, you know what I mean, getting in the Word a little bit, this is a good book to start. Maybe, I guess, if you feel like it's too much reading or whatever, I don't know. But this book was, I was entertained in the whole book. Like, what? And it's Yah's word. It's Yah's word, and that's the best part. You feel me? So yeah, just think about it. Just think about that. You feel me? With that being said, man, y'all be easy, be blessed. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Bringing it back to the old school Zay. I'm out. Let's bounce.